Welcome to Titans for Life with your hosts, Justin Dubo and Dean Mayrand. Hey, fellow Titans. Welcome back to the Titans for Life podcast. Hope your week's been great and you're consistently working towards bettering yourself. This podcast episode is going to be a little bit about me, my fitness journey, and all the valleys and peaks along the way, and how I think it could help you in the future. Just want you guys to know that these pitfalls are basically a part of everybody's life, and we're all going to have to climb different hills. But here's my story, and hopefully you enjoy it. It's early 2016, my cousin's wedding. I was in the wedding party fitted for a suit, unaware how heavy I was. 2 weeks later, I went to button the collar, and it wouldn't close. At first, we laughed about it. Maybe the other Justin in the wedding party swapped shirts with me, that kind of stuff. But deep down, we all knew the truth. I had gained weight over the past few years since high school, but this much in a 2-week span, big yikes. I stepped on the scale that night, 250 plus pounds, the heaviest I had ever been in my life. And at just 6 feet tall, there was no hiding it. The alcohol, the late nights, the garbage food, they had all caught up. That was the kickstart, the moment I realized something had to change. After the wedding, I jumped into a diet my mother-in-law, Brenda, had been following, and I hit the gym hard, 6 days a week for 3 months straight. The weight melted. I dropped from 250 pounds down to 205 pounds in 3 months. That was the first time I learned the power of fitness and nutrition, how quickly it could reshape not just my body, but my energy, my mindset, my life. But here's the truth. I couldn't maintain it. The diet was too low in protein, something I didn't understand until later in my journey. I made bad calls with food, with alcohol, and instead of grinding, I let things like rec league slow pitch get in the way. Still, this was the spark, the start of the forge. From 2016 to 2018, it was a roller coaster. Ups and downs, fighting to stay consistent. By early 2018, I could feel myself slipping again. I needed another spark. That's when I tried the keto diet. And man, it worked. I went from the 230 pound range down to 205 pounds again. I was back in the gym 4 to 6 days a week, lifting for speed, feeling sharp, moving well. For the better part of 4 months, I kept it tight, hovering around 210 pounds. I even inspired myself enough to lace up again and try playing senior hockey. I wasn't an impact player by any stretch, but it was still great to get out and move on the ice again. That was a high point, proof that when I locked in, I could climb back into athlete mode. But my biggest pitfall was always the same, alcohol. In September 2018, on our honeymoon in Vegas, I boozed for 3 straight days, and after that, the slide came fast. From September to February 2019, I ballooned back up to 235 pounds. Consistency has never been my strong suit. From February to August 2019, I was stuck in the same loop, yo-yoing around 235 pounds, never finding real consistency. And then tragedy struck. On August 10th, 2019, my second son was airlifted to the Stollery Children's Hospital. 3 days later, on August 13th, he went in for open heart surgery. We thought the hardest part was behind us, but while recovering the very next day, they removed his breathing tube. A short few minutes later, he went into cardiac arrest. That was the lowest point of my life, watching doctors and nurses work on your child for nearly half an hour, not knowing if he'd come back. It changes you. We were admitted to a family room as they worked tirelessly to bring him back. After 28 minutes, they resuscitated him and placed him on an ECMO machine. By the grace of God, he pulled through. Today, he's a happy, healthy 6-year-old. But back then, the stress was crushing. We spent 25 days in the hospital after his surgery. And during that time, I did what I'd always done when life hit hardest. I turned to food and bad habits. I packed on another 25 pounds, climbing back to 255 by September 2019. It felt like another valley I couldn't climb out of. After the storm, I had a choice, stay buried or climb. So back on the horse I went. When we finally got home, I started slowly building the mojo back. Went mostly keto, mixed in some yoga at home a few nights a week, and laced up again for senior hockey, trying to claw my way back to what I had lost. By December 2019, I had dropped down to 235 pounds. Not stellar, but it was progress. I was moving in the right direction again. Fellas, this episode is brought to you by the Titans for Life Hydration Backpack. If you train, hike, bike, ruck, work outside, or spend any time pushing yourself in the heat, hydration can't be an afterthought. This pack was built for movement. It has a 2-liter water bladder, adjustable chest and waist straps, breathable back support, and a lightweight tactical design that stays with you when you're moving. It's simple, rugged, and useful, exactly how your gear should be. You can find it on Amazon. Search Titans for Life Hydration Pack or check the link in the show notes. Now, back to the show. Around that time, I picked up a couple books that completely shifted my perspective on diets. Dr. Paul Saladino's The Carnivore Code and Dr. Sean Baker's The Carnivore Diet. I tore through them, and the more I read, the more it clicked. It was eye-opening. I thought to myself, what do I really have to lose? So, on Boxing Day, late 2019, I made the leap. I started the carnivore diet. It wasn't perfect at first. There were days at work where 2 pounds of meat wasn't enough, and I'd grab a chocolate bar just to scratch the itch. But I stayed with it. By mid-February, I'd cut down to 220-ish pounds. The momentum was building. Then March hit, and so did COVID. The world shut down. Lockdowns everywhere. But for me, something shifted. Instead of letting it bury me, I took it as a challenge. I hovered around the 220 to 215 pound range, but now I had time. No excuses. I doubled down on working out at home, I stuck to the diet fully, and I set a goal that terrified and inspired me at the same time, to run a half marathon for charity. For the first time, everything lined up. Discipline, diet, and drive. My biggest peak was on the horizon. This was the forge in full fire. 6 days a week, no excuses. 2 days of Beachbody high-intensity training mixed with weights, and always capped with a brutal 15-minute ab circuit. 2 days of long-distance running, whether on the treadmill or outside, and 2 days of sprint work at the park across from our home. 30 minutes of all-out effort chasing speed. I was on fire. In just under 3 months, I went from a mediocre 5K that took me 30 minutes to complete to running a full half marathon in under 1 hour and 49 minutes. From nothing to 21 kilometers, forged in less than 3 months. The weight melted with the discipline. I dropped to 188 pounds, the lowest I'd been since grade 11. The fire was back. I felt unstoppable. Nothing could stop me now, except for just one thing. My brother's stag. Life tossed in a curveball. My brother's stag was an amazing time. 3 months of no booze, no social contact, and then everybody gets together to go golfing. It was all pedal to the metal, baby. And I let myself slip. Enjoyed myself a little too much at the party. 2 weeks later was the wedding, and I did the same thing again. Old habits, creeping back. Still, I managed to hold on to one victory. I ran my half marathon 3 days after that wedding, still pulling off a sub 1 hour, 55-minute finish. I was proud of that. Proof that even when I stumbled, the fire inside was strong enough to push through. Through the rest of the summer, I kept testing myself. I started hammering out Murph challenges, pushing my conditioning and grit. I leveled out around 200 pounds and even put on some muscle. I was determined to lace up for senior hockey again, this time with everything I had to give. But beneath the progress, the cracks were starting to show. My diet was slipping, again. Before getting a chance to lace up, COVID lockdowns hit again, and the 2020-2021 hockey season was canceled. No games, no rink, no outlet. What was there left to do when you couldn't leave home? Drink. I sense you're starting to gather there's a common theme here. By January 2021, I'd had enough. I tried to claw back with home workouts, but instead, I blew up my back. 3 days off work, flat out. I slowly climbed out of that hole, only to blow it out again by August. It became a recurring cycle. 5 major flare-ups in 5 years. I guess 2 degenerative discs will do that to a guy. Every time I felt momentum, my back reminded me that it was fragile. Layer on top of that 3 years of rampant alcoholism and the stress of the job I was in at the time, I was on a path to nowhere. By the time 2025 rolled around, I knew one thing. It was time for a change again. This time, a real, consistent one. I crawled my way back into the gym. At first, every workout was a gamble. Would my back hold up or would it buckle again? Physio exercises gave me short bursts of relief, but nothing seemed to last. My commitment was off and on, never fully locked in. But then I changed jobs in April. That shift lifted a mountain of stress off my shoulders. It also gave me more time in camp to hit the gym consistently. I started digging into research. What exercises could actually strengthen my back instead of just patching it up? I implemented those movements, slowly building a foundation. That's also around the time when I met Dean Mayrand and I joined in on his Titans Tribe workouts. 2 times a week on our days off stretch was enough to inspire me to get better. And off we went. The fire was back, but this time it was a steady, slow growing movement. Alcohol consumption dropped to nearly zero. For the first time in years, I felt like myself again, setting goals, handling stress, forging myself into something stronger every day. Hey guys, quick pause to talk about a brand I actually use and trust Prestige Labs. When it comes to supplements, I don't mess around with hype or garbage ingredients. Prestige Labs focuses on clean, third party tested products that actually support performance and recovery. I personally use their creatine for strength and output, protein powder to hit my daily intake, and their cravings crusher at night to stay disciplined and avoid late night snacking. If you're training hard and want supplements that support your work instead of working against you, check them out. You can find the link in the show notes and on our Instagram page under the Linktree link. And as always, this isn't medical advice, just real tools for men putting in real work. And now here we are, October 2025. I'm on track for another great year ahead, and brother, this time feels different. So you've just heard a long, winding story of peaks, valleys, battles, and breakthroughs. But here's the question. Why does this matter to you, the listener? I'll give you 4 reasons why. First off, because maybe you see yourself in these struggles. The yo-yo diets, the false starts, the nights you drank too much or ate like crap, the injuries that made you want to quit. You're not alone. Second, because if I can climb out of those valleys, so can you. I'm not special. I've been broken, fat, stressed, and defeated more times than I can count. But every time I've crawled back, I've proven one thing. I won't quit on myself, and neither should you for yourself. Third, because you need to know this, your story is still being written. No matter how many times you've fallen, no matter how deep the valley, you can rise again. If I can do it, you can too. Vince Lombardi's quote comes to mind. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. And fourth, because I've tried almost every diet and workout plan in the book, and I've been successful on all of them, even if only for a stretch. I've done the research on sustainment. I've seen the pitfalls. I've made the mistakes. Brother, I'm here for you. That's why Dean and I are bringing the message of Titans for Life to the masses. Together, we can get you back on track one way or another. Because at the end of the day, the grind is the gold. Small victories, one at a time. Let's pursue this together. As a closer, I want to leave you with 3 non-negotiables I live by. These are my personal directives for leading a successful life. Number 1 for me, I'm done with alcohol. It doesn't love me back. It's nothing but a roadblock. Every time I let it back in, it slows me down or drags me backward. The sword feels much lighter now that I've cut it out. Number 2, keeping protein intake high. No matter what, if you want muscle into your later years, you need to fuel for it. You can do it, even on the road or out at camp. Protein isn't just fuel, it's insurance for the future Titan you're building. Stay consistent with workouts. It doesn't matter if it's 3 times a week at high intensity or every day at a lower burn. What matters is consistency. Every rep sharpens the steel. Every session is another demon in your head slain. Every workout is a step closer to forging yourself into what you're meant to be. Do these 3 things, and the rest will take care of itself. Here's my Titans battle order for this month, for you, the listener. Start at home. I want to see 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, 30 bodyweight squats every day for a month. Carve the time and get after it. For the experienced men, I want you to add this to the end of your workout as a finisher. Let's burn the reserves and get to the next level. Report back to us on Facebook or Instagram sharing you've completed the challenge. Be a Titan for life. Well, that's it for this episode of Titans for Life. If you got value today, make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share this with another Titan who needs to hear it. You can follow us on Facebook at Titans for Life. That's Titans, the number 4, life, or on Instagram at Titans_4_life_online, all lowercase. And if you want to rep the movement, support the show, or grab some Titan gear or supplements, check out our links in the show notes. Our Shopify store is now up. Until next time, always remember, the grind is the gold.